the first time since 1969, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs returned to one of their historic homes, Daytona. Welcome to the 52nd SCCA Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb at Daytona International Speedway, brought to you by Mazda. The run for the medals begins now.
Welcome back live to Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. Day 2 of racing here at the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Your day off to a good start, I know, with Greg Creamer and Jeff Lepper. Ibrick Benjamin, Dorsey Schrader is alongside. For the next couple of hours, we'll keep you company here as we bring you coverage of STL. That's the first item on our agenda here today. Dorsey and I will be along for Formula 1000, as is now known Formula B, and then Spec Racer Ford Gen 3, which I know is near and dear to your heart, so we'll talk about that as well. STL cars lining up here on the pre-grid, getting set to come up on the 3.5-mile layout at Daytona International Speedway. And we have got just a ton of race cars here, 37 cars qualifying for this event. A lot of Hondas and Acuras up front, one Mazda Miata starting in the first 5 rows. Hayward Wagner, how do things look down on pit road?
Got a nice breeze going through pit road right now, settling things down a little bit. This is going to be one of the really premier races today. Very evenly matched cars. Some of these guys set their fast time on Monday. A couple others did it on Thursday. So we see some cars that might work a little bit better in different weather conditions, some guys that figured out stuff that went on through the week. Keep in mind, guys, these folks haven't been on the track since Thursday morning. So the first couple of laps may be a reorientation of this Daytona International Speedway.
Going to be tons of fun. Good morning, sir. Good to see you, Mr. Schrader, alongside. We had a lot of fun here yesterday. STL ought to be extremely competitive.
I'd say so. One of the more popular classes. 37 cars will take the green here in a minute. These are highly modified, or much more modified cars than the touring cars that we saw earlier on. Super Touring Lite, very popular class, real race cars. It's going to be a pretty interesting race. Very, very competitive, as Hayward said.
We've got our Garmin Verb Fast Lap of Daytona International Speedway, courtesy of the outside pole starter, Cliff Ira from Kansas City, Missouri, and his Fira Motorsports Acura Integra GSR model. And we take you down through the tri-oval here. There you see the green light flag stand, and we are heading down into turn 1.
17 degrees of banking goes to 0 when you come across that line right there. It's really hard braking. You take a late entry to this corner and you get back on the throttle as soon as you can, because you carry a lot of speed through this little area right here. It's a little less turn, and it's blind from the driver's view. You can't see through that wall. You got a hard braking zone up ahead for the slowest corner on the course. The International Horseshoe is also the slipperiest corner on the course. A lot of mistakes made here usually, although since I've said that all weekend, I don't think we've seen one. Anyway, down off that corner, you run down this straightaway to the fastest corner on the infield. It's the kink left-hander, flat out in most cars, and it's scary. You don't want to go off there. Hard braking for this right-hander. This is a trickier corner than it looks, because it falls off camber past the apex here. Once you get through the center, the back end of this gets falling off, and the car tends to want to go out in the grass there. You want a good run off there, because the next corner is probably the most important on the infield. It leads on to the banking, so your exit speed here determines what kind of top momentum your car can carry before it gets to the bus stop. You know, up on this banking, everybody flat out, everybody's in top gear, and it gives you just enough time to start thinking about the bus stop, which is a tricky little chicane when you get up there. We see a lot of good overtaking right there, passing, but we see a lot of wrecks right there too, because you're going from top speed of the car, whatever that might be, down to third gear for a really flick to the left, flick to the right. Then you get the car straight and you flick to the right and you flick to the left and come back on the banking again. It was put in to save the tires. Believe it or not, you'd be running, most cars would be running over 200 mile per hour here without this little chicane to break up the speed a bit. In any event, back up here, NASCAR turn 3, full banking as it carries you through 3 and 4. These cars will run mostly at the very bottom lane, down by the yellow line, double yellow line. That's because the further higher you go up on that racetrack, the more distance you're covering, and these cars just don't need that kind of grip, you know, at the speed they go.
Mostly front-wheel drive cars in Super Touring Lite, and they don't bind on the bottom of the racetrack, do they?
No, not so much. You can certainly adjust them where the car floats along pretty good through the rise, stop, start, finish right there, completes your lap.
About 145 miles an hour when you come across the stripe here. Field rolling away. We'll try to set as much of the lineup for you as we can in STL when we get it back from Hayward Wagner.
Guys, we talk a lot about the drivers at the pointy end of the field that are here to fulfill their dream of a runoff championship. A great example of somebody deeper in the field who's just as passionate about his dream as Mike Taylor in the 38 car. Mike got involved in some of the budget racing enduro series over the last couple of years. Got a lot of track time, particularly here at Daytona. When he found out the runoffs were coming, he used the SCCA alternate driving school path to become an SCCA racer. This is his 7th ever club race, fulfilling his dream of competing at the runoffs.
Mike Taylor will start today out of the 24th position, and will have a lot of company around him.
He will. He will. As you can tell by the field rolling past on the race lap, and we will have green flag coming out this first time. You've got a preponderance of Hondas, Acuras, and Mazdas. You've got everything from Civics to Integras to RX-7s to Miatas, all sorts of interesting iron, I think, in this category.
And the cars run very, very similar to one another, regardless what their body size looks like. The horsepower to weight ratio makes them all really tight, close together. That is entertaining for the fans.
No question about it. Front row, Kevin Boehm out of Marysville, Ohio. He is a Honda engineer. That's a Honda Racing HPD Civic Si Coupe, the 79 car. Cliff Ira, who we rode with a moment ago from Kansas City, and the Fira Motorsports Acura Integra GSR. That'll be your front row. Second row, John Schmidt from Sunbury, Ohio, in the Hoosier Redline Oil HPD Honda Prelude. He's already got one national championship under his belt, winning yesterday in his earlier category. And Andrew Salzano in the HART Honda Civic Si Coupe. Andrew, also a Honda engineer, resides in Marysville, Ohio. Third row, Nick Leverone from North Smithfield, Rhode Island, New England region competitor. And that's a Mazda Miata. That's the Drill Masters Mazda, the 31 car. Bob Beatty alongside in the 28 from Northampton, Massachusetts, also out of the New England region. That is the Fenton Wheeler Automotive Honda Civic Coupe, rather. Fourth row, Deuce Keene from Cocoa Beach, Florida, the 45, the KBR Performance Honda Civic Si. Darren Treacle from Broad Run, Virginia, in the 70 car, will start 8th today. That's the Carbotech Honda Civic Coupe. Fifth row, Oscar Jackson in the 90 from Chino, California, the Jackson Racing Honda Civic Si. And Greg Amy from Middletown, Connecticut, been at this a long time in the 33 car. He'll start 10th. That's the Hoosier HPD Honda Civic Si. 11th starting spot, Stephen Wheeler from Geneva, New York, in the 29, the Wheeler Automotive Acura Integra. Eric Thompson in the 187 starts 12th from Aberdeen, New Jersey, the Flat Out Motorsports Mazda Miata. Back to the 7th row, Mike Van Steenberg from Winter Haven, Florida, the 94, entered in a couple of categories here this weekend, the ISC Racing Services Mazda RX-7 GTU. 14th starter is the 40, David Palanier from Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's the KRS Ignoble Motorsports Mazda Miata. Starting 15th, Richard Walke from Hawthorne Woods, Illinois, in the 51, the Creative Technologies RX-7 Mazda. Starting 16th and 19th, Bretton Williams from Clinton, Iowa, the BWR Jesse Prather Motorsports Mazda RX-7. Starting 17th and 95, John Hainsworth from Marlton, New Jersey, the Maximum Attack Motorsports Mazda RX-7. 18th starter, the 51, Paul Whiting from Pahrump, Nevada. That's a Honda CRX. 10th row on the inside, the 19, the 14 of Thomas Smith from New Jersey, then the 43 of Bernard Nagel from Geneva, New York. Safety car in, heading to the Tri-Oval. Dorsey Schrader, we're about to put this 37 car field underway. Look at him go 3 wide already here.
Yeah, and the green wasn't out yet. That might be looked at. I don't think there was a position change, but there was definitely a shuffle in the second row.
Boehm and Ira. Boehm on the bottom in the white 79. Ira on the outside in the white and green Integra. 1-2. The 22 car of John Schmidt, already with the title under his belt this week. He bumps his way up to third.
Kevin Bayman, that lead Honda, works at the factory as an engineer. He, along with a lot of engineers at Honda, are racers.
Yeah. Boehm and Salzano, part of that Honda Fit Touring B program and Pirelli World Challenge. So got a lot of guys with a lot of talent and experience in these small bore cars.
Little stack up back there in the middle of the pack, if you will, middle being somewhere around 20th.
Yeah, 3 and 4 wide. There's one Ford Focus in the field as Ira is under attack on the outside. Schmidt in the 22 trying to get past. Ira holds on to second spot. The 25 car in the mix, that's Salzano.
A lot of these car drivers, I see the names and recognize them from some pro series. So these guys are running in the amateur class for the runoffs today, but they have driven pro races before. They're good drivers.
With Ira second in his Integra as the field funnels down. Final corner here.
One car spun up there right before the infield right-hander.
One car off at the carousel. The 23 car in some trouble there. one of our up-front qualifiers in the 23 in some difficulty, so that will shuffle the field up quite a bit there.
That's Deuce Keene, who I don't know if he got helped around or if he did it on his own, but the car got refired and he's back underway. You could use a yellow now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's pretty much coughed up his chance. These races only 50 miles, 14 laps, 40 minutes by time. If we were to have a lot of caution laps here, we haven't really seen that. The Formula Atlantic race we just had did have a few caution laps because of a tangle, but generally speaking, this has been pretty clean racing. Here's a look at what happened entering the carousel.
There was contact there, no question about the red car that went around the outside, got in the back of Keene and I think turned him. That'll be under review with the stewards.
Ira in second spot, John Schmidt in third, everyone chasing Kevin Boehm in the 79. Boehm with an interesting storyline. His dad, Heinrich, is here with him from Germany. He lives in the States now. Used to race in German touring cars. And It's a father-son operation. They brought no help, just the two of them here. They're under the Honda Racing tent over on the far side, the turn 4 side of things in the paddock area, as we watch Schmidt move smartly into third and nearly have a get away from him.
That was a good save right there. Oh, big hit into the wall. The 22 got helped, yeah.
So John Schmidt's bid to win 2 of these this weekend will go by the boards.
That was a direct hit straight into the wall with a little help from my friends.
Wow, tough break for John Schmidt. He is in a place where they may have to throw it.
Yeah, I was about to say that'll probably bring out a full course because the car is unable to go on its own, I would think, after that kind of a hit.
He's not in any kind of safe area there. He is on the racing surface. Here's your second-place driver, Ira. Take another look at what happened as the leaders came into this corner, this S turn.
Yeah, the silver car tries to get underneath and clips the quarter panel, turned the 22 straight into the wall head on. And that, like I said, that's pretty fast down through there. It's deceiving.
Absolutely. Deuce Keene, I think, they're involved in that one. That's Schmidt moving by. That's Ira in the 36 car. Your second place runner. Leader is Kevin Boehm in the 79, who is long gone at this point, to almost 3 seconds to the good over Ira. Andrew Salzano in the 25, I think, was involved in some of that contact. Here's Schmidt in the black 22 car back on the racetrack.
That's 28.
That's the 28 rather, team car.
The 22 is still down there, I think, but they have not thrown a full course caution. They've got it covered with a local yellow.
This is Bob Beatty in the 28 car.
Bob Beatty has run many times in pro racing.
Yes, and Oscar Jackson right in front of him in the 90. That's a Honda CRX as they battle it out for 4th and 5th here. Full course caution will be displayed as we work lap number 2. Getting the word from SCCA Timing and Scoring. Corner workers who always do a marvelous job. We've got a great group of them here this weekend at Daytona International Speedway. We thank them all for their participation, and the yellow flags are waving. So this will bunch things up behind Boehm.
It will, for sure. I mean, those corner workers you're talking about, over 150 strong, best in the country. They have been around with SCCA from day one, and they keep everything going and everybody's safe. Hats off to those guys that work for free.
So the time clock may come into effect here. Shouldn't take too long to remove Schmidt's 22 car. This has got to be frustrating for John Schmidt. He wins a championship here yesterday from the outside pole, gets bunted here in the S's.
Different view right there. That car was pretty loose. He got 2 wiggles on his own before being helped into the wall.
Yeah, he lost it. There's no question about that. But then the contact, and I understand, Dorsey, having raced some over the years, you're in this situation, you think, man, I've got a lot to race for here today. I got a chance to take advantage. Even if you see a guy get loose in front of you, you may keep your foot in.
Well, you're trying to take advantage of the fact that car got loose, and he was trying for an inside, work up the inside. But as the car got corrected, it brought it straight across in front of, you don't have usually more than one decision to make. You go left or you go right, you zig or you zag, and one time you're right and next you're not.
Still time to make one more bad decision.
Yeah.
These things.
They'd say 50% of the time you get it right. I've never found that to be true. 50-50 never works that way.
There you go. Kevin Boehm in the 79 on BF Goodrich tires as well in that Honda Civic SI Coupe, doing a nice job. There is Ira, their second place car, the 35, Andrew Salzano. Salzano and Boehm work together at the Honda Marysville plant.
Salzano's front end right underneath the right headlight, pretty damaged.
Yeah, he made contact with the 22.
Yeah, so that was a pretty big hit, more than just a push.
Oscar Jackson in the 90 car will line up in 4th. Beatty will start 5th in the 28 on the restart. Deuce Keene in the 45. Greg Amy in the 33. Nick Leverone in the first Mazda in the field will line up in 8th on this restart. We're being told that to facilitate the cleanup in the infield road course portion here at Daytona, the field will be taken all the way around the oval next time under caution to give the cleanup crew some extra time to work.
One of the changes here at Daytona that is affected by what we're going to see right now is that the timing and scoring loop used to be inside of turn 1. So if you did go around turn 1 and you went around the banking like they're about to do, you wouldn't get scored for that lap. So you'd have to make a U-turn and come back through there to get the scoring monitor. Now that's at start-finish line. You don't have that problem anymore. You can bypass this turn 1 area, and they can clean that up. You see a lot of fluid under the 22. That's going to have to be dealt with because, believe it or not, that's right in the middle of a corner.
Absolutely, and Schmidt got loose, as we saw, going into the road course there in the infield section, and then got pushed into that concrete wall. So obviously broke the radiator.
Yeah, broke the radiator, oil cooler, both up there. It hit pretty directly straight in. And unfortunately, you know, that front of these cars is mostly plastic and light metal.
Not much bracing up there.
No, not a lot.
If you think of a stock car or even a prototype car in sports car racing, a lot of times there'll be some bracing inside that bodywork, not so much on these cars.
No, and it's aluminum for the most part. I mean, if you look up the radiator shroud and all that's usually made out of aluminum on these cars to keep the weight down. Not just on the race car, the street cars are the very same way.
Yeah. Peter Keene in the 23 from Cocoa Beach. He was the car that spun early, did not bring out a yellow on the carousel. Keene's car sustaining some damage. They have repaired that car. Looked like they had to do a little bit of right rear work on the body and perhaps change a right rear tire as well from what we could see. And Keene is back out on the race course. So we're working lap number 3 under caution here as the time clock continues to run. 40 minutes, the time limit for each of these events. Timing and scoring, top of your screen, courtesy of our friends at Mazda. Keep track of the lap count and where your favorite drivers are running in each of these categories. Hayward Wagner with our coverage today, once again on Pit Road.
Guys, I'm with Troy Benner, who's with the 2-3 car that's been on pit road a couple of times for some precision adjustments. Am I right, Troy?
Yeah, I had a little fender bender out there, and we were just helping these other guys out. We had the primary adjusting tool here for rolling the fender lips back out. So baseball bat, pry bar, whatever you can make work on pit lane, you know.
So you guys actually brought an honest-to-God Louisville Slugger to pit lane just in case something like this needed to happen.
Yeah, we carry it in the pit car all the time because a lot of these production car classes, you get a lot of fenders, you know, bumping one another, and the easiest way to roll them back out is different diameters of the bat work really good for that kind of stuff. And if you need to, it also is a driver adjustment tool, you know, so it's a good thing to have.
All right, so we've got mechanical and coaching tools here in pit lane.
dual purpose tool. I knew I was going to get to that.
NASCAR trick.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you got irate crew guys around, you can take care of that too.
Sure. You've got the beer cooler on one side, the baseball bat on the other.
Yep.
That usually get everybody's attention.
That roll in the fender, that's an old NASCAR trick, works really, really well. You use the mechanical advantage of the bat between the tire and the fender and just push the car from the behind, and it just rolls it right back into place. Gets you the same contour.
And here, especially where aerodynamics is key, you want to get it as close to normal as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to tear that off if you get it.
No, any kind of hindrance aero-wise on the front of these cars will kill these. They don't have big engines in these cars. This is the smallest engine category, and they're the lightest cars. So if you put a big air dam or air brake out on the car, it'll fall from the sky.
Peter Keene in that 23 out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, not far from here on the east coast of Florida, qualifying in 22nd spot. That early spin put him at the back, but now this long caution and maybe some attrition might give him an opportunity. This will bunch the field back up, certainly behind Kevin Boehm on the restart.
Yeah, it's just like nothing's happened at all. You got to do it all over again, only you have less laps now to get to that checker flag if you do have intentions. If I was anybody short of Kevin up in the front, I would be really concentrating on trying to get a good start and get behind him in a draft. You know, I mean, he just took off. Cliff Ira had nothing for him whatsoever. And I don't know if that's a result of not getting a good start, but drafting here in these little cars is so important. You know, they just don't have the kind of horsepower to pull themselves through the air. They need help.
Well, I think it's partly the draft. Boehm is an accomplished driver. He's been doing this at a high level for a long time.
Engineer, and, you know, that car, you can be sure, is meticulously prepared to the highest degree.
Kevin races as well in the Continental Tire Series of IMSA quite often with the HART team, the Honda Auto Racing team that's based out of that Marysville, Ohio Honda plant. And it's not factory supported in the sense that they put money into the team, but you have smart guys who can drive.
Well, it's cool. They're all engineers. They all love racing, so they take their own money and their own time off, and they go to the racetrack and they race the Hart Racing Hondas. And they've run them in professional series for many, many years, very successfully. All those guys work at the factory. They have day jobs. unlike the fortunate ones of us like me that don't. However, they do have a paycheck where sometimes I don't.
Well, there you go. Heading back to start-finish here, and it will not be a start this time by. We'll have at least one more lap under caution as we work on lap number 4 now as the field comes by the stripe this time. And as Dorsey pointed out, the timing strip is now at start-finish here at Daytona. Even for the road course, there are timing loops around the oval in many places, but on the road course not activated for this event as Schmidt's 22 car gets loaded on the rollback. That was a pretty hard hit. There's a lot of heavy. If you have to bring the rollback out, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I knew it was going to be hurt on that left front corner because, I mean, he didn't have any time to get to the brake. You know, by the time he got tapped, he was in that wall head on. So and it didn't bounce off, so you know it absorbed a lot of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. That is that's just a concrete wall there. There's no safer barrier or soft wall of any kind there. That's just a trip into the concrete. Not at high speed, fortunately, but certainly a hard lick anyway for Schmidt's race car. So John Schmidt's attempt to win 2 national championships this weekend here at Daytona goes by the board. You're watching live coverage of the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Garmin for Maverick Benjamin, Dorsey Schrader alongside Hayward Wagner with our coverage today on Pit Road. We've got a lot of racing for you here today after this event. We'll continue, of course, with our coverage. One more before we hit our lunch break today. We'll have Formula 1000, Formula B, as it's currently known, coming up before the midday break. Spec Racer Gen 3, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 will kick off our afternoon coverage. Then F Production. Touring 1, Greg Creamer and Jeff Lepper will be back for those two. Dorsey and I will conclude the day with Formula V and GT Lights, which ought to be a great show as well to wrap things up here on day 2 of these 52nd annual SCCA Runoffs. Field coming behind the safety car in through the bus stop on the backside of the racetrack. And we're hoping to go green next time by. Now, the other question is, once Schmidt's car was removed over there in the infield section of the circuit, were they able to get the moisture taken care of in there? Were they able to get everything done in terms of drying the racetrack so that we can go green this time by as we take a look at the Mazda RX-7s, the 14 car?
Probably some kitty litter to be dealt with down there. We also hear of a car making a pass under the yellow. Passing under the yellow is prohibited. So there will be either one of 2 different things happen there. If the chief steward lets him go back in his position, that's one thing. But if not, there'll be a time penalty assessed post-race for that car for passing under yellow. Or, you know, just depends on what infringement they want to, or what kind of penalty they want to apply to that infringement. But you cannot pass under yellow.
Absolutely. Everybody, SCCA marshals watching for those sorts of infractions in a 37 car, now a 36 car field. You know, there's a lot of traffic out there. And I think guys sometimes will think, okay, I can sneak by this slower car here, no one will know, or you know, you just get caught up in the moment and somebody slows down and you pass them. Green flag back in the air to begin lap number 5 of 14. Kevin Boehm, your early leader in that 79 car. Here comes that little Civic trying to bust up through the middle. That's the 90 car of Oscar Jackson.
That was a great move by Oscar Jackson. It really held Ira back. Ira now falls back to 4th place with a really bad start.
Andrew Salzano gets by him as well. Ira in that white Integra with the black and green trim being shuffled back. Here comes the 45 of Deuce Keene up into 5th position.
Oh, contact between the 90 and the 25.
Salzano being shoved into the grass after the contact with Jackson there.
He climbed up over the tire, and that's got to have bent the suspension on the toe, at least, on that car, I would think.
Payback, maybe?
Well, I don't know. They won't think kindly of it, that's for sure.
Here comes the 45 of Deuce Keene trying to attack Cliff Ira in the 36 cars. They fight it out. Ira found his way back up to 2nd after Jackson got in trouble. Here's another look at what happened. Jackson went sideways, and Salzano was right there.
I think that's exactly the 90 got loose, gets sideways, and collects the 25. I mean, there's nothing else.
That's just hard racing. That's the second time we've seen a car get loose here in one of these infield parts. And you've got front drive cars. You don't usually see that.
Cliff Ira, for whatever reason, just really cowered when he went down to turn 1. He just braked really early, really light, and let everybody get around and by him.
All seems to have worked out for him because he sits in 2nd spot. Now, one of our Miatas, the green and white 31 car, starting to move up. That's Nick Leverone. He got shuffled back quite a bit on the initial green flag. Now starting to move back into contention, back up to 7th last time by. Just gets passed there by Greg Amy in the 33 car. Actually, that's the 28. I'm sorry. 28 car making a move to get around. It's Bob Beatty. as they're shuffling for position. Here comes Leverone back in the 31. They're going to hook up in the draft right out of the bus stop.
I think 28's got more motor. He's going to pull away. I saw Beatty really get aggressive and get down in underneath that car.
He was quick early on.
Yeah, I think he's making his way back toward the front now.
As the field comes around, hit the timing stripe one more time. We'll reset the order for you here as the leaders come to the trial. Well, here's Boehm in the 79, still out in front. Ira in the 36 running second. Side by side at the moment for third, though, you've got Beatty and Keene, and right behind them, Leverone. So that's your top five. Beatty and Keene battling for position in the 45 car. Nice move. Deuce Keene takes over third.
Ira has come alive. I mean, he had a terrible start, and all of a sudden now he's got the car running good. He's much closer to Kevin than he was in the first segment before the yellow flag.
45 car of Deuce Keene out of Florida, running in third. The 28, the 31 of Leverone, the first Mazda in the field, up to fifth.
That's a good race for third right there. 4 cars involved. Ira really now starting to close in.
Dragging that left rear, though. A lot of tire smoke as he hits hard braking.
Yeah, real hard braking. He brought it down to the limit. The nice thing is that there's no weight at the back of that Acura.
Yeah.
So it won't flat spot the tire, even though we saw it drag it in there. You know, it's only holding the fenders up off of the dirt pretty much.
So Ira in second in the Integra, a guy who's always been strong in these runoffs. We're looking to see if he can mount a charge on Kevin Boehm, who's lead right at the moment. Probably about a second, maybe a second and a half. Looks like about 20 car lengths as they get up on the banking.
Out of Kansas City region, Kansas City, Missouri, not far from where I live, Lake of the Ozarks. Not a lot of tracks left in the old Midwest anymore. It's a shame.
Yeah. Racetracks everywhere. As the population increases, a lot of folks don't want racetracks anywhere near their homes and subdivisions and things like that. It's hard to keep some circuits alive, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've lost all the major circuits that we used to run at in the Midwest. It's a shame. We used to run through 7, 8 different venues, but none of them there anymore.
Battle for third here. Deuce Keene in that cherry red Honda, the 45 car, the KBR entry. Right behind him, the 28 of Bob Beatty out of Northampton, Massachusetts, 3 seconds behind the race leader. And then you have Nick Leverone and his Mazda Miata with a hardtop in the wing in 5th position. Darren Treacle running 6th in the 70 car. Greg Amy 7th in the 33. And Mike Van Steenberg back there in 8th. And here we go side by side again for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Leverone will dive to the bottom. Looks like a problem.
Yeah, he's coming in the pits.
Problem for the 45 of Keene, I believe. That's the 28. I'm sorry, that's Beatty in the 28 car with a problem.
Oh, it just blows up. Holy cow.
Big problems there. That is the sign of an engine that will not last. And to his credit, Bob Beatty saw that problem coming.
Yeah, he knew it was happening. Andrew Salzano, too, the 25 car that was running up front of those guys, is pulled off also down in turn 1. So mechanical issues on 2 cars at the same lap.
Well, after that hard hit that he and the 90 of Oscar Jackson got into there in the international carousel earlier, wonder if maybe he did some damage to something in the front.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm sure that when you climb up over the top of someone like that, it hurts something every time.
As we watch Super Touring Lite continue, Kevin Boehm in the 79 right there is your race leader. He's led from the start after out-qualifying the 37 car field. Doris, talk to me about these kind of race cars, lightweight cars, as you pointed out. Do you ballast these cars at all? You talked about the Integra having no weight to speak of in the back end.
They have a minimum weight requirement for the car, but if you can get the car down to below that, you could ballast it and you could get your weight front to rear percentage the way you want it. These cars at the back end don't have much. There's nothing back there but the trunk. And with that being said, the rear tires don't do nearly as much work as the front tires do.
Do you try to add a little bit of weight maybe back there, even if you have a front drive car, to balance the car?
Yeah, you do. You don't want to go overweight. You still want to be at minimum weight if you can get there, but you do want to get more of a balance to the car. But thinking about front wheel drive cars, the front wheels are doing 70% of the entire work. They're doing all the acceleration. They're doing all the turning. Ooh, and we see
Oscar Jackson's 90 car with heavy right front damage.
Yep.
That is a shredded tire along with the fender damage there.
And that's that climbing on board that did that. You know, it's like I say, you can't get up in the air over the top of another car and not hurt anything. It just always.
Exactly.
Take something out.
So Jackson climbing out of the 90 car. Tough break, short day for him. Kevin Boehm, though, enjoying a day in the sun here so far at Daytona International Speedway. Boehm has led all the way, about to put lap number 8 on the board. 6 to go for Boehm as he stretches the advantage now. Ira holding station, not in as bad shape as he might have been earlier. We'll see what the gap is when we get about 1.8 seconds. So Boehm added about 4/10 to the gap last time around. Just past halfway in Super Touring Lite. We'll take a timeout. Come right back to more runoffs action at Daytona International Speedway.
The 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb, is being brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, driving matters.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license, took 2 tries, bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band, loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize, family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, coverage of Super Touring Lite in these 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb. Alongside Dorsey Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin, battling here at the bus stop. Third place fight underway. That's Deuce Keene in the red 45, Nick Leverone in the Mazda, the 31, the Miata with the hardtop. Up onto the banking here. These two have been fighting it out, and they are just, 6 or 8 feet apart, Dorsey Schrader, in turn 3 of the Open.
Not anymore. Now they're side by side.
Trying to use the draft to slingshot around the 45 car for third spot. Podium spot up for grabs here through the trial.
If he can maintain that momentum, he can cut back down in front. But I don't know if that's where you need a spotter right now to tell him. I think he could have closed that door, but without a spotter, or maybe he doesn't have one, you don't know for sure you've cleared them. These cars are allowed to put wings on the back. You see them on there.
Yeah.
Sometimes those wings take away your rear vision quite a bit.
Keene able to get back around the 31 and retake third, but Leverone trying to stay right with him here through the infield. Deuce Keene in that cherry red Honda Civic SI, the 45. Of course, we saw so many open wheel cars here this weekend. We've seen so many with the wings laid just about flat. Some of the teams with a double wing, the stacked section of wing, taking the top wing off. We saw that even in the Atlantics in some cases. Would you want to take the wing off completely here?
You know, I think you can legally take it off. You don't have to run it if you want, and I don't think you would need it either. At this racetrack, you want to get top speed over almost anything. Ira is catching up.
And this is the lead fight, and it has become a fight over the last lap or so. Kevin Boehm in the 79 continues to run up front, but the veteran Cliff Ira from Kansas City and his Acura Integra right behind him in second now, cut it down to 0.6 of a second.
He might, in fact, now get some help from the draft. I mean, he was too far back before, but I think right now he's getting pulled along. He got 2 seconds off of the deficit that lap. So something going on. Maybe Kevin's car having an issue. We don't know that yet, but here comes Ira.
Working lap number 10 of 14. Kevin Boehm has led from the start after earning pole position honors during qualifying earlier this week. 4 days of qualifying. Boehm realizes he's got company up front here, and he's got to get his elbows up a little bit.
Yeah, Cliff Ira just lost a lot of positions on that start, but once it settled down, he's gone to work, and he is the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, Ira through the speed trap last time, 149.9 miles an hour.
Running 150 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Here he's got a good draft going. Kevin feels that pressure for sure. Let's see if we can get him down to turn 1. He's got to run.
I'm thinking Boehm's got an issue. He was at 2:12 last lap, where Ira ran at 2:10.8.
I think he has something going on too, because 2 seconds is an awful lot to make up on
in one lap. Yeah, unless the driver makes a mistake, it certainly is. And Boehm doesn't usually make mistakes. Last time by, the gap down to 0.2 Ira in that Acura trailing the 79 of Boehm, your race leader all the way, working lap 11, 10 complete.
Don't see anything obvious with the car.
No.
The car looks very stable, using all the road. There's no smoke, no indication of a problem, but we can't say that, you know, he's not having trouble with a gear, getting a gear selection or whatever.
We've heard of a lot of gearbox problems this week, relatively speaking. We have a lot of drivers say, hey, I couldn't get fourth gear, couldn't get fifth gear.
Yeah, and that'll kill you here.
Yeah, oh my gosh, yes, yeah.
Well, a lot of these cars, you know, don't run a gear as tall as you need to run here. You know, their top gear, they have to go up a lot from what a normal racetrack would be.
Because of the long runs on a
they're
big
probably
track.
20 mile per hour faster here than any racetrack they run on anywhere. So with different gears, normally you get bigger splits between the gears, and that causes some problems with gear wear as well.
If you haven't thought through the process of building your gearbox or having it built for you for this kind of racing, you might well run into problems here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, these are speeds that these cars can't attain. You know, when we talk about road racing at Daytona, it's an anomaly. This is the only place, the only racetrack in the country you'll ever race at that gets these kind of speeds and has the high banks and all that.
Cliff Ira right up on the back deck lid of Kevin Boehm down the backstretch, the super stretch here at Daytona, heading to the bus stop again. Boehm's been good in this section. We'll see if he can gain some ground on Ira a little bit here. Ira a little loose coming through there again, and Boehm pulls out another couple of car lengths.
Yeah, I don't see any place where that car is slow enough that I don't see a big loss. I don't know, so maybe on that lap he wiggled or something, didn't miss a gear or something, but lost 2 seconds, that's for sure.
Take a look back. This is Nick Leverone running fourth. Battling he was earlier anyway with Deuce Keene in the 45 for podium spot for third place. Looks like he may have gotten by Keene here since the last time around.
Those three have been having at it the whole entire race.
Leverone, Darren Treacle in the 70 getting into the mix here as well. Leverone in that Mazda, the green and black machine. And he has got a challenge coming as these three cars hit the trial. We'll get a look at them for you as they come by here. Boehm continues to lead Ira up front. That one has calmed down just a little bit. But there's the 70 car, Darren Treacle, right up behind Leverone, who is now third. Deuce Keene had fallen back to fifth as Leverone goes wide entering the infield section.
Leverone had a big pull, but with those two cars in front of him running like that, he's getting the full effect of a draft.
Darren Treacle in the 70 car has gained a lot of ground here as we work lap number 12. Treacle lining up for this one in 8th position. So he's been one of the big movers at the front end of the field here. Leverone in his Mazda qualified in 5th position. He's up in 3rd now, getting a lot of heat from Treacle. Treacle in that black 70 car.
These three cars very, very evenly matched. I mean, they've been running like this for the entire distance, 11 and 14 laps complete.
Treacle's out of Broad Run, Virginia, races in the Washington, D.C. district. The region, Mid-Atlantic states. There is Keene of the 45 out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, running wide up on the curbing at the banking of turn 1.
They're having fun, that's for sure. The three of these guys have been going at it.
Yeah, when you can see the guy you're battling for position, that makes it a lot more fun. That's for
Absolutely.
sure.
Here's a run.
Treacle drawing right up on the back deck lid of Leverone's MX-5.
And he chooses to stay there. He doesn't go around the outside. He could have driven up to there, but doesn't. Maybe they're trying to pull away from, Leverone.
Think about this a little bit and tell me what you would say from a driver's perspective, Dorsey. And this is not where the money is paid or the medals are handed out on the backside. Wouldn't you want to just get there and then make your move in the trial?
Well, you'd like to do it. I had enough right there to make that happen, but for some reason chose not to.
And Leverone pulls away in the bus stop. The Miatas have got an advantage there.
Yeah, it's definitely more agile down through the infield. But these two working together, the draft, should be able to run them down.
Different technology and working, of course. The Miata, a rear drive car, one of the few in the field.
Yeah, that's true too. And it's very, very nimble.
The two Hondas looking up in a draft to try to close back in on Leverone as this fight for third continues.
And look at the speed.
And Kevin Boehm has been passed for the lead meantime. We're not watching that action. Boehm has given up the lead to Cliff Ira. And here come the two Hondas for third, the 70 of Treacle. Here's Boehm right up behind Ira now. I think Boehm may have some tire wear issues or something like that. Looks like he's offline.
Yeah, well, he's got something that's gone on with the car that slowed it down for sure. In the meantime, Cliff Ira has run him down and made the pass now.
Cliff Ira and the Acura Integra taking over here in Super Touring Lite as we work lap 13. White flag will be out for the leaders next time by. Ira dragging that brake on the rear of that car, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down any.
Little Integra is pretty clean aero-wise. It's narrow in its front end.
Slower.
Yeah, it's slower. It's more narrow across its nose. So it's probably got good top-end numbers, but we really haven't seen any one place on the racetrack where the cars just really separate from one another. So I'm thinking there's mechanical issues with Bame's car.
Darren Treacle in the 70 getting by, hooking up in a draft with his partner back there, Deuce Keene in the 45. Yeah, they hooked up and they blew by Nick Leverone. Leverone had pulled away coming out of the bus stop last time.
Yeah, so the two-car draft, it really worked really well for the larger car.
Cliff Ira and Kevin Bohm will run 1-2. They out-qualified the field. Ira taking the pole with a lap of 2:09.67. Ira's best lap at 2:09.82. So there wasn't much of a gap between these two.
This time he gives him a big hit.
Deuce Keene in the bump draft on Darren Treacle.
Well, they're trying
for third spot.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a two-car race for third spot. Get rid of the little Mazda behind them if they can do that.
Leverone closing in that rear drive Miata with a little bit of an advantage through the bus stop.
That's where he's good. He's really good through the twisty bits. Makes up all that ground.
Up onto the banking, we check in on the 2 leaders. Cliff Ira stretching the advantage now. White flag in the air. 1 to go in Super Touring Lite here at Daytona. We'll check the gap for you.
Be interesting to find out what went off on the car. You know, whether it's, like you say, it could be tires, and it very well could be.
Gap almost a full second that time, so Ira is pulling away. Now he may have some slower traffic. Is that what I think it is? Is that a Dodge Neon up ahead there?
Probably is a Dodge Neon, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I looked through the entry list here. Yeah, there is one Neon in the field. Brian Bogart.
Oh, gets in too deep. In too deep, loses second place.
Wow.
Back to third again, but a good save. And it's not over. They got one more lap around here.
Deuce Keene in the 45 taking advantage there, getting by Treacle in the 70 car. They pick up third. Final podium spot is up for grabs here. The 31, the Mazda of Nick Leverone.
I thought that had happened. Pretty sure that the bump draft isn't going to work this time. This time it's every man for himself.
It is. The 70 of Treacle on the outside. Look at this.
Green car's going to get the advantage here. He's going to get a big run. Those guys going side by side had to go slow to do that, and they're still side by side.
Keene in the 45, Treacle in the 70, fighting for third place honors.
Mazda's going to get him if they keep that up.
Nick Leverone right there in that 31 car, trying to take advantage of the battle between the 70 and the 45.
Leverone's going to get him because they're not paying attention to him down there.
This is where if you had a spotter, it could be an advantage, no question. I don't know if any of these 3 drivers have spotters, but it would definitely help you here. And now it looks as though the 45 has lost the draft. Treacle seems to have broken away.
Watch Leverone in that Mazda, the third place green car, when he gets to the bus stop. That's his strong area. He can get both these guys here.
Ira and Boehm, 1-2 up front, no change there. Ira the leader by about a second last time by. Last lap of action here in Super Touring Lights.
All comes down to that corner. We're not going to see it, darn it. There it is. Watch the little Mazda. It's real fast through here.
Treacle is still out in front of this battle for third.
Slams through the curbing. That's pretty good, but now he's in trouble.
Deuce Keene running in fourth. The 31 car of Leverone in fifth. Cliff Ira has given up the lead. Kevin Boehm has gotten back in front. Boehm making a pass for the lead and is your winner. So Kevin Boehm, who led most of this race, gave up the lead to Cliff Ira. Something must have happened. Ira perhaps making a mistake. We didn't get a chance to see it. Boehm getting by and wins by 1.4 seconds. So Kevin Boehm rallies on the final lap and takes the gold medal. Here's the battle for silver. For bronze honors make it. And we believe it is Deuce Keene coming across the line in third in the 45 spot. Looks like Keene has gotten the position he has.
How did that pass for the lead happen? Holy cow.
4/100ths of a second was the gap between Keene in the 45, Treacle in the 70. Leverone in the Mazda has to settle for fifth position. So Deuce Keene rounds out your podium there in the cherry red 45, the KBR Honda Civic Si. We congratulate Deuce Keene. He will win bronze medal honors here in Super Touring Light. Your gold medal winner is Kevin Boehm out of Ohio. The BF Goodrich HPD 79 car, a Civic Si coupe as well. Ira and his Acura having to settle for second spot.
Well, we don't know how that happened, but out of the last half a lap, he pulls off a pass for the win. That's pretty amazing.
Didn't get a chance to see it, but a great move certainly by the 79 of Kevin Boehm. And Kevin, he and his dad will have a safe and happy trip, we trust, back to Ohio with gold medal honors here in these SCCA National Championship runoffs. For Cliff Ira of Kansas City, big disappointments. There's that Dodge Neon that we were talking about. I thought I recognized that car. The Neon qualifying back in the field, qualifying 36th. Brian Bogart from Schnecksville, Pennsylvania, the reliable auto body Neon RT. But he finished.
Yep, got his national championship under his belt. Just coming to these things is an honor. You have to qualify to be here. You're not just automatically come down here. You have to qualify in your division, get into the show. It's a big thing for these guys. Biggest race of the year. It's their Super Bowl.
Exactly. There's Ira, that Acura Integra, who finishes second. He will earn silver medal honors here in Super Touring Lite. So interesting battledores. We had a lot of fender rubbing here. Some great competition on the high banks and through the infield section. And it all ends up in Kevin Boehm's hands.
Pretty clean considering 38 cars.
Yeah.
You know, we had that little skirmish early on, but all in all, most of these cars don't have a mark on them. And they've run a national championship. Good job.
Kevin Boehm in the 79 takes the honors here in Super Touring Lite. We congratulate Kevin on that win. Hayward Wagner will talk to our winner on pit road in just a couple of moments. Ira and Deuce Keene rounding out the top three. A couple of cars coming out for hardship laps once again. We've got more racing coming your way in just a couple of moments.
Quite a few hardship laps at this runoff.
Yeah, well, I think it speaks to the challenging nature of racing here.
Yeah, it's different.
At Daytona. I mean, much like the Road America years, the 4-mile circuit there with the big long straightaway and the challenging sections. I mean, this will put your car and your race team to the test.
Well, it definitely will. You know, and you don't get to practice here a lot, so you just keep trying things until it's over.
Formula 1000 will be next up for us. But that'll be a few minutes away yet. We are going to hear from our top three finishers. Here's Kevin Boehm in the 79. I know he and his dad will be thrilled with this result.
They don't have to do any body work. That's the nice thing.
No. And Kevin prepares a very clean race car. And it has been a car that's been fast here all week at Daytona International Speedway, as we talked about earlier. Kevin, a driver with pro racing experience, both in Continental Tire and IMSA and in the Pirelli World Challenge, as he unplugs the radios, undoes the belts, and gets the Hans device unhooked from the helmet as well. And lays his helmet on the floor of the race car, pulls the head sock off, and Hayward is there to talk with him.
Kevin Boehm, a great drive for you. Tell us what happened there on those last couple of laps as you were battling Cliff Ira for this championship.
Oh, I have to tell you, Cliff, he brought himself a really good car for this track, and that his Integra was really fast in a straight line, and I was having to really watch him in the mirrors. And there with probably 3 or 4 laps to go, he got a good run and got a draft and got by. And at that point, I was just trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I was thinking hard, and on the last lap, I knew I was getting a better run out of the bus stop than he was, and I got a bit of a run, and it looked like he missed a shift, and that's all it took. Just a little bit of luck, and it just worked out. Right place, right time.
The guys in the booth were hypothesizing that you might have had a little bit of an issue. 2 or 3 laps to go. It looked like you gave up the position to him relatively easily. We actually missed that pass because we moved to the 3rd place battle. You had 3 guys behind you that were just duking it out for the bronze. Did you have an issue there?
No, really the difference is that this car just doesn't have any top speed. Just Cliff had the better car for the oval, and he got a good run out of the bus stop that lap, and I knew it was inevitable. I thought I would just follow him and see where I could get by. I thought he was going to get by at some point, so I'm glad I did, because I figured out where I was quicker than him, and I think we ended up passing him just at the right time.
All right, well, big congratulations to you. The gold medal is going to come in here. We're going to get a gold medal for you. We're going to get a checkered flag for you, and you will get to take your victory lap. We're going to step back to Cliff Ira. If we can get Cliff Ira real quick.
Hayward.
Cliff, it looked like you were going to pull it off there for a little bit. You had that great pass with a couple of laps left. What happened next?
Well, out of the bus stop, I knew I had to hit my marks, and unfortunately, I went from 4th to 2nd. So when you do that, and your whole dash blows up because you're at like 10 or 15.
We call that the money shift.
Yeah, that was the money shift, and unfortunately, I just missed a shift, and I think I had him on a little bit on top speed. If I just could have made it to the bus stop, I had a clean entry, so all I had to do was get by the exit.
Now, both the start and the restart of this race had some drama. There was the incident down in turn 1. Was it a challenge for you to keep a focus with people in front of and around you making mistakes in those situations?
Yeah, I think they were on that, especially, I don't remember which restart it was, but there was a really aggressive yellow Civic or something that dive bombed me into 1. And then those guys got locked up in 3. And fortunately, they were skidding off to the left, and I went inside of them. So I was just trying to get out of the way. People were dive bombing in there. So I was able to run down Kevin at that point. So.
Well, congratulations to you on your second podium in a row here in STL. We're going to step back and see if we can find Deuce Keene and talk to him about that battle for third.
Thanks, Hayward. Appreciate it.
Deuce Keene in the Honda. You guys were the stars of the show, you and Nick, and who else was running with you?
Miata, the spec Miata, and then the other, the black Honda. So we were trading spots back and forth, and I just got a good run coming out of the chicane on the last lap. So
to our eye, it looked like there was a little brand loyalty going. It looked like two Hondas ganging up on a Mazda. Was that your strategy?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. HPD and everything's been great to me, and yeah, I'm a Honda believer, so I'm definitely going with my Honda partner.
But you guys definitely had the show of the race. The guys up front were fairly well settled. Our camera's on you guys a lot. Talk to me about what it was like to run in close quarters with those guys, particularly between the bus stop and the checkered flag on the last lap.
Well, I just knew, we've been bumping down the back, so I figured I better hold my spot. And he got a good about a 4-car length lead on me coming out of the chicane, so I was like, man, I don't know. Then mine started getting in the air and catch him, and then I just got a good enough run to get by him here at the stripe, so everything went well.
All right, well, big congratulations to you. We're going to go back upstairs to the guys in the booth.
All right, thank you very much, Hayward. Yeah, a lot of happiness, obviously, down there among the top three finishers. Deuce Keene knows that he prevailed in a very tough battle.
And for Cliff Ira, I can relate. I also lost a national championship on the last lap by missing an upshift gear at Road Atlanta. And you're sitting duck, and there's nothing you can do but think about it. But I've done it. I've been there and done it.
Absolutely. As we watch Kevin Boehm take the victory lap here, his dad riding shotgun in the 79 car, carrying the checkered flag around Daytona International Speedway. A lot of fans turning out here today, by the way. Of course, Friday and the qualifying week, you have to take time off from work to come and do this. And on the weekend, you get an opportunity to come out. A lot more people able to come out. Looked like a lot of folks coming in to watch these SCCA runoffs in person this weekend. Top 10, Boehm, your winner. Ira second. We heard from Deuce Keene, who rounds out the podium in third. Darren Treacle has to settle for fourth. And Nick Leverone, the first Mazda across the line, and that Miata ends up in fifth spot. Richard Walke gets credit for sixth in the 61. Greg Amy ends up in seventh spot in his 33 car. So a good way to kick things off for us here today, my friend.
Got that one done. Nice, exciting race. And this next race coming up, of course, back to open wheel cars with the lightest cars out there. It should be entertaining.
Absolutely. I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing those Formula 1000 machines. Look back at some of the action we saw here at Super Touring Lite. Boehm on the front row on the pole in the 79, and Cliff Ira on the outside. Boehm took the measure of Ira going down into turn one and set sail. Looked like he was headed to the house early. That's the John Schmidt incident in the infield in the early laps here. Andrew Salzano helping the 22 around a little bit, kind of incidental contact there. Later, Salzano and Oscar Jackson in the 90 got caught up in the international carousel. They both were knocked out. There's the damage to Jackson's car. At the checkered flag, it was Boehm repassing Cliff Ira on the final lap out of the bus stop as Ira missed a shift, and Boehm takes honors in Super Touring Lite.
Yep, the bittersweet and the victory right there together.
Yeah, absolutely. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, some of that. And Boehm knowing that the missed shift was what cost him the opportunity to win here today. So Kevin Boehm is your winner of the Super Touring Lite National Championship at these 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb. I'm Rick Benjamin for Dorsey Schrader and Hayward Wagner. We congratulate our winner and our top three finishers. There is plenty more to come from Daytona International Speedway.
The 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb is being brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, driving matters.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license, took 2 tries, bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band, loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize. Family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.